Well, it's that time of year. No matter what the weather is like, the calendar says it is time for the hunt for the walleyes. And to give you the best chance to fill out your limit, we bring in our fishing experts, Corey Larson, Jason Homer, out live in their boat tonight at a secret location preparing for this fishing opener. Corey, let's start with you. First off, this weather is brutal. It is not going to be for the faint of heart tomorrow. What do you want to do if you want to catch fish tomorrow in this kind of weather?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, this is favorable weather for me. I like a little overcast. I like the clouds. Give me a little bit of chop. You know, it'll keep the fish in shallow. You know, if there's any chance of the fish getting aggressive, this is kind of the weather you want. So.
All right. Now.
You there?
Yep, I'm here. Jason. Jason, what about preparation though? Because this is the first time out, you got to be ready for anything, right?
Right, Jim, and actually there's 5 things that I want to mention real quick in terms of getting ready. Well, first off, safety first. Make sure you have enough life jackets in your boat for everybody who's going out with you. Make sure you've got your kill switch in operation. You've got a fire extinguisher on the boat. But the 5 things that I want to mention in terms of getting ready to go out fishing that you can actually do in your garage before you get out on the water. It's going to maximize your time on the water. Number 1, start with your batteries. Make sure they're charged up. Make sure that the terminals are free of corrosion. Make sure that the water levels, and if you have a water cell based battery, distilled water, it's all topped off. It's going to hold the charge better, and it's going to last longer for your battery. If you have old gas in your gas tank, make sure you get some stable in there, or some seafoam or something to kind of get the moisture out. It's going to be a little easier on your engine. You're not going to have some of those problems, make it run a little bit smoother. Also, your live wells need to be cleaned out. It's going to do 2 things. It's actually going to keep your fish healthier, and it's actually going to also cut down the spread of some exotics like Eurasian water milfoil, zebra mussels, etc. So the other thing I like to do is make sure that all my tackle's very organized. You know, get my rods rigged up and everything before I go. But before, just in case when you do actually have to make a change on the water, you know, I like to make sure that I've got everything set up so when I need to make that lure change, I've got, hey, easy now. I know where that lure is, so
right, Jason,
I don't have to spend a bunch of time looking for the lure.
All right, Jason, we got to hold your thought right there. We got to take a quick break. You got to pick out a couple of those that are going to work tomorrow. We'll be right back with more on the opener, and the Wild have a guy that's going to excite the fans. We'll show you that goal in just a moment as we continue here on Primetime. You'll want to see it. Stay with us. Welcome back to Primetime. We head right back out to the lake with our fishing guys, Corey Larson and Jason Homer. And guys, what kind of lures are you throwing out there tomorrow, Corey? The pressure's on. We got to catch some big ones.
I tell you what, I got you, Jim. You know, my primary species is bass, but I like to mix it up with the walleye. So I've got something here that a lot of guys don't use for walleyes, and especially around here when you got weed walleyes. What I've done is taken one of a bass premise with a slip weight, put a little rattle on there for some noise, but this is a Phelps floater. Walleye guys are familiar with that. But you tip that with a leech, and when the weight stays on the bottom, the leech will be able to swim up on this floating head, but the weight will penetrate down into the weeds, so you can get down where the walleyes are, but you can allow that, you know, Phelps floater and the leech or the minnow, whatever you want to put on there, to swim around freely. And it's really worked out well for me in the past. So that's something that a lot of guys don't try, and I think they'd really have success if they do. So.
All right, Jason, should the walleyes not be biting, you got plan B, right?
Absolutely. Northern openers tomorrow too. So obviously everybody knows about a daredevil. Everybody knows about throwing a spinnerbait. One thing that a lot of bass guys know, and they know that this catches northerns, is a chatterbait. It's basically like a swimming jig style bait with a blade on the top. This blade vibrates back and forth, has a lot of flash. It's a bright bait. It's going to attract a lot of northerns. I almost can guarantee that if you start throwing one of these tomorrow, you're going to hook up with some northerns.
All right, Corey, this weather, do you see this slowing down the fishing tomorrow, or is it going to be okay because of the cold weather we've had?
You know, I still think the fishing can be productive. The fish are always biting. One thing that I've learned from tournament fishing, fish are always biting. You just got to experiment, find out where the fish are, start shallow. If they're not biting there, move deep. If you can't get the walleyes, go catch the northerns, or, you know, you can always get the crappies. The crappies are really going. I've been catching a lot of them lately.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for your time. You only have 90 minutes to wait, and you guys can fish for real. We appreciate you joining us, and you can check out their work at bassutopia.com.